watching Notre Dame football on NBC. Presented by Verizon.
Downtown San Antonio, home of the famous Alamo, and not too far away, the Alamo Dome, as we're back where it all began. The very first Shamrock Series game took place here 7 years ago, giving Notre Dame fans a chance to experience new venues, new cities, while at the same time spreading the Irish brand around the country, yet with still that home game experience. And today, on this Veterans Day weekend, it's even more special as this historic city with its deep military roots welcomes the Army football team and its loyal followers who have also come from near and far. So we renew one of college football's most storied rivalries as it's the Black Knights of Army and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, presented by Verizon. In fact, it is rare back-to-back games for Notre Dame against Navy and Army as the Irish continue a most disappointing season last week against the Midshipmen of Navy, losing another close one to fall to a record of 3-6. So here come the Irish in San Antonio. And if Brian Kelly wants to take his team to another bowl, the Irish have to run the table in their final 3 games, beginning here against Army, with very tough games still ahead against Virginia Tech and USC on the road. Meanwhile, Army is in its best position in years to get back to a bowl game, and they're going to come out with number 2, James Gibson, number 8, Christian Drake. That represents their fallen comrade, Brandon Jackson, who passed away in a car accident on September 11th. They go out leading the Black Knights every game since. As Army is in its best position in years to get back to a bowl game with a record of 5-4 in his 3rd season. There's Jeff Monken, the head coach. He's completely changed the culture of the program that has had 1 winning season since 1996. And his starting quarterback today is Chris Carter, in for the regular starter Ahmad Bradshaw, who's injured. It'll be Carter's first start of the season. So the Irish set to take on another upset-minded Service Academy as we send you down to Catherine Tappan.
Coach, there is a lot of symbolism that comes with each Shamrock Series game that Notre Dame plays. What makes this game against Army here in San Antonio so special?
Well, obviously the tradition of these two schools going back to the turn of the century. Notre Dame Army back in the 1900s was, obviously a turning point for Notre Dame football and beating Army. So great tradition with the two teams. Being here in San Antonio, obviously, is a place where the Shamrock Series started back in 2009. So coming back to a place that was extremely supportive and getting this Shamrock Series going. So again, a great event, and our kids love being part of it.
Back-to-back weeks for you guys against option opponents. What did you learn last week from your team that you can apply this week against Army?
Well, triple option is very difficult. You've got to be disciplined. I think our kids obviously understand how important it is to be disciplined in the option, and you're going to have to be extremely efficient offensively because they limit the possessions that you get.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. Dan?
Thanks, Catherine. As you know, Doug, option attacks give coaches headaches, and in back-to-back weeks, what do you think Notre Dame has learned? They really had some problems covering the midshipmen last week.
Yeah, I think this week they go a little more man-to-man coverage, which will allow them to get an extra player involved in stopping the run. And when you stop the option attack, the key to it defensively is to do your job and stay disciplined with your eyes, do your responsibility. If you have dive, take dive, and don't take your eyes off it. If you have quarterback, if you have pitch, stay with your responsibility. Option teams hammer the ball. They're willing to go for it on 4th down. Every inch matters. Make the back fall backwards. There's a big difference between a 2-yard gain and a 3-yard gain, and we learned a lesson last week.
Absolutely. All about possessions. They gambled.
You got rid of the ball with 7.5 minutes to go and did not get it back. So Notre Dame needs to get off the field defensively.
All right, we got a new quarterback, Chris Carter, in for the injured Ahmad Bradshaw. How good is this guy, and what is he compared to as far as Bradshaw is concerned?
He's exciting. He's a little faster than Bradshaw. Maybe not as experienced at the option game, but see him get out on the edge a little more. He's got more speed, not quite the tough inside runner, and he does throw the ball well on the move. Waggles and boots.
All right, so Carter will get his first start of the season, but he did start down the stretch last year in the final 2 games for the Cadets. So the kick is taken by C.J. Sanders. And now he kicks across the 20. And the ever-dangerous C.J. Sanders on the opening kickoff is going to take it all the way for Notre Dame. 92 yards.
You can just see the crease happen early. He picks up 2 blocks up inside and straight up the numbers. And this is part of the game that Notre Dame should excel in today. There's pure athleticism on special teams versus Army.
Had a 93-yard kickoff return last year against Stanford and takes it back 92. Justin Yoon to tack on the extra point for Notre Dame. And we're seconds into the 8th Shamrock Series game, and Notre Dame is up 7-0 on the big return by C.J. Sanders. And we'll see a lot more of C.J. on offense for Notre Dame since Torrey Hunter has been declared out of the game with a banged-up knee, so it could be an even bigger afternoon for C.J. Sanders. So that's got to be a shock to Jeff Monken and the Black Knights of Army, Doug.
Boy, he struggled with his kicking game, his punt game, his field goals, and now add kickoff coverage to the list as Notre Dame comes out with a big spark. C.J. Sanders taking it straight up the numbers. Just one cut and gone. The athleticism really comes into play. You know, Army is an option football team. It helps offset some of the size and athleticism, but there's very few ways to do that in the kicking game.
Talked a lot about Notre Dame trying to get back on winning track. Army started the season off 3-0 and then has since fallen on hard times. A very disappointing loss to Air Force last week. And shocked by Notre Dame here in the opening seconds here at the Alamo Dome. So Yoon puts it in play, and Army comes out with Elijah St. Hilaire, and he gets to the 21 or 22-yard line. And that is where Chris Carter in the Army offense will begin. Started the final 2 games last year as we take a look at the Black Knights backs and receivers. Edgar Poe, they don't pass a lot, but he can go up and get it. 6'4", Edgar Poe on the outside for Army. And up front, there's been a change up there. Justin Gilbert has moved from left guard to right guard, and Jackson Deaton will get his first start, a freshman, at the left guard position as they've done some mixing and matching up front. They've also gotten some injuries to their running back positions as well. Darnell Woolfolk, Andy Davidson, very banged up. And so Cole Masick, number 13, gets the start. And Carter hands it right off to him for maybe a yard. But again, in this option, 2-3 yards, not bad, as a lot of it is 4-down territory. So the Notre Dame defense and a change up front there. Jerron Jones, who had a huge game against Miami a short time ago, only 12 snaps last week. Bonner gets the start for him. They feel he's better presented for the option. And Greer Martini, one of the linebackers there who's key against this option attack, and Dante Vaughn also getting the start back there as well. Here's a pitch to Tyler Campbell, tries to turn the corner, maybe gets a yard before he's run out of bounds by Julian Love.
see Julian Love coming from inside out to chase the play, and the key is extend the option. Take the quarterback away, take the dive away, use your athleticism on the perimeter, and chase. Watch for Love and the other defensive backs to be matched up at man-to-man, and when these wing backs go in motion and run the option, they're chasing them all the way across the field.
And pretty much four-down territory almost encompasses the entire field for this Army offense. It is 3rd down and 6, but if they can get 3-4 yards here, they will go for it on 4th and down often. And the pitch to the outside, and it's fumbled by Kel Walker, and that'll bring up 4th and long. Walker going to see some more action this week. He scored his first touchdown last week of his career. He's just a freshman, but he drops it there, and that's a loss of 5.
Well, again, they forced the option pitch all the way to the outside, but Cole Luke was in perfect position to come up and make a play. Army fortunate to get the ball back, but both Walker and Campbell, 22, are the athletes at the running back position for Army.
And all of special teams has been an absolute adventure for Army. This is Jermaine Adams. He's a wide receiver. He's the 3rd different punter that Army has used this year. He puts a pretty good one out there to Chris Fink, who's back deep, and Fink is driven back inside his own 30. So far, so good for Army on the special teams, but stay tuned. Notre Dame up early, 7-0. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Verizon. Join a better network because better matters. By Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. By Gatorade, the proven sports fuel. And by U.S. Bank. 8th Shamrock Series game. Notre Dame taking on Army again. They last played Army in a Shamrock Series game staged at Yankee Stadium, where these two teams have a great history. So Deshaun Kaiser brings the Notre Dame offense out after C.J. Sanders took it all the way back in the opening kickoff. Josh Adams with his first carry of the game, and it's for 1st down yardage. And Doug, if they can do that all game long, it's going to be a long day for Army.
No doubt. Will Notre Dame have the patience? McGlinchey at left tackle here makes a nice block, opens it up, and Josh Adams hits it up inside. But if Notre Dame can be patient and run the football, they know they have the ability to make big plays in the passing game. Don't get pass happy.
Notre Dame had 6 possessions total in the game against Navy last week as a flag comes in.
For 68, offense, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
And that is another false start against Mike McGlinchey, who's had more than a few of those recently.
Yeah, more than his share. And a guy that is a leader in this offensive line, you know, that's mental discipline.
I asked Mike earlier this week, you know, how would you describe the offensive line play? He says good and bad. We've been pretty good at times, but we really haven't done our share a lot as well. Kaiser going for the home run ball down the middle. And that was intended down there for Sanders, and a flag is on the play as Sanders, who took it back 92 yards, they were looking for a long one from him again.
This is Gibson on the coverage, number 2, and really the ball's overthrown, and he's in decent shape. He didn't need to reach out.
Pass interference, number 2, defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
But that's a little bit of what I'm talking about with Notre Dame. It could be very easily 2nd and 10. When you came out and gashed them on 1st down with the run, don't get too impatient. I know you're going to take some shots.
So with a pass interference penalty, it's up to the Army 47. And Kaiser will keep it on the ground to Adams once again, spinning inside the 45 as we take a look at Notre Dame on offense. Again, no Torrey Hunter in the lineup. C.J. Sanders, as we mentioned earlier, gets the start for him. Hunter was hit in the back of his leg and sustained a knee injury as well last week in a big game for him. And Mark Harrell is at right guard in for Colin McGovern, who sustained a concussion recently and has missed some time, but that's a big change up front at right guard. Kaiser complete at the 40-yard line to Kevin Stepherson, who tried to shed a tackler, still short of the 1st down marker, opening up 3rd and short.
I mean, these are easy throws for Deshaun Kaiser. Off coverage on the outside, just run a hitch route and get your receiver the ball. in talking to the defensive coaches of the Army, they're not used to facing quarterbacks who can just flick their wrist and throw that wide side out and that wide side hitch. So they have to defend the wide side of the field a little bit more against Notre Dame than others.
You've got just a little contrast, Doug, in quarterbacks physically in this game, don't you? As it's Adams who tries to pick up the first down. He should get it. You've got Deshaun Kaiser, who's 6'4", 230, the prototype quarterback on the short list of a lot of NFL teams as one they'd love to have on the roster. And then on the other side of the ball, you've got the 5'9" Chris Carter, 197, 7 inches smaller. So this is just totally different kind of offensive attacks.
And in a different approach completely. There's just more ways to get it done. There's more than one way to do it.
Adams picks up the first down. And so from the 37, Kaiser fakes it to him, has plenty of time to survey the field, and open at the goal line is Stefferson for another Notre Dame score. That one good for 37 to Stefferson.
Watch the safety step up, and he gets no safety help. Riley, the best cover corner for Army, is outside technique. The safety, number 20, England, stepped up and jumped the tight end route and left his corner one-on-one on the outside. Stefferson, that's a pitch and catch. That's like throwing routes versus air for Deshaun Kaiser.
Army has just been decimated at the cornerback position. They lost their top 3 corners, including the sad passing of Brandon Jackson, who died in a car accident on September 11th. And Notre Dame out early in this one with just 10 minutes. 5 minutes into the game, they have the big kickoff return by Sanders, and then Kaiser, with plenty of time, surveys and finds Stefferson to make it quickly. 14-0 Notre Dame.
Notre Dame fans are loyal. No matter where you go in the country.
Notre Dame fans are crazy about Notre Dame, and they bleed blue and gold.
Well, they're just not graduates of Notre Dame. I mean, you have those that are so passionate about the brand of Notre Dame, and it just kind of separates it from everybody else.
In fact, the term Subway alumni came from 7 meetings at Yankee Stadium back in the 40s when they created that fan base in New York City. Short kick here taken at the 10-yard line by Elijah St. Hilaire, and across the 25 where he's brought down, and the ball looked like it was jumbled there. And Notre Dame indicating they have it. Nope, they say Army has it.
The runner was down prior to losing possession. First down.
Very close to coming out. He gets hit and spun, falling to the ground as the ball was coming out. Difficult to see.
Nico Fertitta was in there, number 28 for Notre Dame, helping to jar the ball loose. There he is. They like his toughness. Sophomore from Las Vegas, Nevada. Bishop Gorman kid who played well in North Carolina State. And that's another example of it. He is pumped to have at least given a chance for Notre Dame to take over, but Army has it and begins at its own 26-yard line. Again, Chris Carter with his first start of the season under center. And whistles stop the play, delay of game.
5-yard penalty. First down.
And that is exactly what Army does not need when every yard is just so precious with this option attack done.
So important to stay in down and distance. If you get 3 yards of play, Army is happy. And to back up 5 yards is like, I don't know, for most people, 3rd and 25.
But they like Carter. They say his arm is, in fact, stronger than Bradshaw. He's got quicker speed to the edge, and here he goes up the middle. And across the 25-yard line, just about to the line of scrimmage.
Nice push by right tackle Toth, Brett Toth at right tackle 78. You get a little quarterback follow. You follow your fullback right behind him, and it's more like a power play. That's usually a short yardage, 3rd down, 4th down play for Army. But at least they get some positive yards and get some confidence rolling.
2nd down and 10. Army in a quick 14-0 hole. Irish return the kickoff for a touchdown, and then a big one to Kevin Stepherson. And this one for maybe a yard. This is Cole Masick, the sophomore from McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, just 5'11". A lot of guys in that physical stature of 5'11", some 200, some 170. So there's Masick, who's getting extra duty today because of Andy Davidson, the leading rusher, who's been banged up. And Darnell Woolfolk, who wasn't even supposed to travel, did travel, but he's a big question mark today. So Army looking for some healthy running backs in this option attack on 3rd and 8. Here we go with a pass. And that's a bit of a newsflash when you're Army, and it's complete as Tyler Campbell has it in the open all the way inside the Notre Dame 30. So they can shock you with the big pass plays. That one good for 45 after they kind of lull you to sleep up front.
One-on-one coverage. There's no free safety. Notre Dame is committing to stopping the run. So your one-on-one, Julian Love, number 27, was on the coverage. And it appears to be called back.
A flag is back at the 20, near the 20-yard line.
But again, Notre Dame is committing to stopping option football after what happened to them last week.
Right side of the screen. Chop block, Doug?
Chop block is if there's contact being made with the defender and then a second offensive guy goes low. I mean, he chopped it, he cut him, which is legal. If the other Army offensive player has a hand on the defender, it is a penalty, and that was very marginal.
Costly one for Monken at Army. That negates the big gainer to Tyler Campbell and now brings up 3rd and 22. And they keep it on the ground on 3rd and 22. Bring up 4th and long as Masick could just get a couple. Greer Martini on the stop for Notre Dame's defense. So we mentioned all the special teams woes for Jeff Monken, and it's an area of the game which just drives him crazy. He's a special teams fanatic, loves his team to be crisp and ready to go. So Jermaine Adams, who had a nice punt earlier, look at this one, turns it over. As Notre Dame sends 2 back, this is Fink who grabs it, eludes one defender, and a nice return for Fink into Army territory. That's a 49-yard punt, so another good punt by Adams. And then a 20-yard return by the former walk-on Fink. 14-0 Irish. Don't miss a moment of Notre Dame home football games with the NBC Sports app. Watch live anywhere on any device. Find out more at NBCSports.com/live. One of the great sights of San Antonio, the Riverwalk. Not a good sight for Army there. Elijah St. Hilaire, its return man, getting worked on. Right ankle, and Notre Dame already up 14-0 with excellent field position for this one after the Fink punt return down to the Army 44. And they start off with Adams darting close to the 40-yard line. You've continued to see a better, healthier Josh Adams, Doug, ever since he's been improving on that hamstring injury, which flared up in camp. Really wasn't the same earlier, but he had the off week, and he's starting to feel more like himself.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, he was considering himself 100% healthy.
So after the gain of 4 for Adams, quick hitter to the 35-yard line, complete to Equinemius St. Brown, who makes his first catch. As we take a look at the Black Knights on defense, 6th ranked in the country in total defense. You've got Eddie Ruzga up there, one of the veterans up front, and then the leader on the defense, captain at middle linebacker, Andrew King. Smart, tough, everything you could hope for in a linebacker. And then Xavier Moss leads the secondary, which has lost those 3 starting cornerbacks, and he is the fastest guy on Army's defense. 3rd and short, and picking up the first down. Notre Dame moves the chains again with Josh Adams, Alex Ackerman on the tackle.
Again, being more, the bigger size up front for Notre Dame, the physicality of the offensive line. When they have short yardage situations, they should be able to run the ball north and south and just grind out first downs.
to Adams. Kaiser with some pressure, gets rid of it. Pass is caught by Stepherson, who just had the big game for the touchdown. And Stepherson tries to put a move there, as he's going to be marked out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Ryan England on the coverage of Stepherson for a gain of 18.
Stepherson working one-on-one and just runs a nice comeback route. Puts his foot in the ground. The ball's delivered to the wide side of the field against McClinton. And those are not easy throws. Even though he's wide open, it looks like an easy throw. There was a little bit of pressure in his face, and Kaiser throws a wide side comeback.
Stepherson has been improving as this season has gone on. Kaiser with a keeper. Kaiser moving, shedding some tacklers, and getting down to the 5-yard line. Xavier Moss probably brings him down, but Kaiser picks up 9.
This is almost Notre Dame's version of the follow, the option football. He's staying right on Josh Adams' tail and up through the hole. And Notre Dame will use Kaiser a lot more in the red zone as a runner. It adds that dimension where you can block everybody down by the goal line.
Second down and 1. And Kaiser on a little sweep give here to Dexter Williams, trying to pick his way, but maybe gets a yard, and that is it. But good enough for the first down. First and goal for Notre Dame, already up 14-0.
Coming in motion, hitting this with speed. You're hoping to get the perimeter, but I'll tell you what, Andrew King fights off a block and makes a great tackle. He's a player in the inside. He's the leader of the defense, as you were saying, a guy that does everything for them. He keeps everybody on the same page. Quality individual as well. All these kids are.
Notre Dame really looking to open this one up in the first quarter with a first and goal from the 3-yard line. Kaiser with a fake, and that ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Incomplete. As that was good penetration there by Army, which included Eddie Rusga and company.
Andrew McLean got his hands up and bats this ball right back, and it's good discipline by Kaiser to knock this down. If he decides to catch it, it's a loss on the play. You get the completion. It helps the completion percentage if you catch that. It's hard for a quarterback to pass up.
Army's got some sacks this year, 17 sacks, and a lot of tackles for losses, 49 coming into this game. So this is a legit defense with some tough folks at linebacker and up front. Kaiser with a fake, had Army fooled, and he takes it in for another Notre Dame touchdown, but there's a flag at the 6-yard line.
Illegal formation, more than 4 players in the backfield. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So that's coming back.
So either one of your split ends was not on the line of scrimmage, or one of your tackles was too deep as well. Someone that is supposed to be on the line of scrimmage is not. This right here should be up. There's a no split end on the left side. Too many men in the backfield.
So that brings it back. Second and goal now from the 8. And Kaiser floating one up in the corner of the end zone. That is incomplete. It's a little too far for St. Brown. And a flag is down again.
23, Riley in
Pass
coverage.
interference, number 23. It's by rule the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
What do? You're getting stiff-armed by a guy that's taller than you, so that could be an offensive penalty. So you grab the jersey back to hold on because you're smaller and trying to make a play.
Logan is arguing that ball was not catchable.
It did land out of the end zone.
I mean, I know St. Brown is 6'5", but
Go Gadget.
he needed to be David Robinson to call that one in.
Well, we got him floating around.
He's somewhere around here, I think.
The placement is the ball is correct. First down.
So the ball at the 2-yard line. First and goal for the Irish. 3:48 left in the opening quarter. Notre Dame in their newest Shamrock Series uniforms with a clear nod to Army, the Army green and the gold. And Adams waltzes in to increase the Irish lead. Josh with his second touchdown. Third make it on the season.
Durham Smythe, at tight end on the backside, pushes everything down, and Josh Adams cuts off his tail to get into the end zone. But that's, you get down by the goal line, you don't have to be fancy. You're stronger up front. That's the shortest distance between 2 points, straight line.
I'll make a note of that. Montgomery Van Gorder with a hole for Justin Yoon. And Deshaun Kaiser and company is out 21-0. Notre Dame has had a habit of giving up big runs by opponents this year, but they have been looking like they've got Army big time outmanned today. We'll see. Mentioned no special teams have been a problem for Army. They've also been a bit of a problem for Notre Dame, but no problem so far today, Doug.
Boy, opening kickoff, C.J. Sanders takes off. It's good news for Notre Dame as far as special teams. And on the punt, Fink is so quick in his explosion of his first 10 yards, making someone miss and getting out the gate. And we were actually talking with athletic director Schwarbeck about it. And Jack's like, yeah, he's so explosive. Those first 10 yards, you know.
Chris Fink is better those first 10 yards than C.J. Sanders, who was, demoted a little bit when he muffed that punt in the Miami game. Remember that? And so Fink replaced him. So both Fink and Sanders on top of their games so far today, as Elijah St. Hilaire is still on his feet across the 30, and a good return by St. Hilaire close to the 40-yard line. And Army needs some good field position and something good to happen. Harry Heastan, the offensive line coach, talking things over with his Notre Dame Irish up front. Live from New York, it's Saturday Night Live with host Dave Chappelle, musical guest A Tribe Called Quest. It's an all-new Saturday Night Live later tonight on NBC. There's the Admiral, David Robinson, NBA Hall of Famer, who won a title here at the Alamo Dome back in the day. Part of the Naval Academy. We've got Army in town here as the Shamrock Series continues, so a big-time military presence on hand here as Darnell Woolfolk gets his first carry of the game, and it's a gain of 5. He was the guy we talked about that was really in question of even traveling here to San Antonio. He's been banged up with a shoulder, so he gets his first carry of the game, and a welcome 5 yards for Army as they begin this latest drive in good field position. And that is Jordan Asbury with his first carry of the game. So that's what the Army offense needs to operate like, Doug.
That's a lot of confidence for Army. When you can give to the fullback, that's a very good indication of things to come for them. If they can get the fullback dive going 3 to 5 yards at a clip, occasionally pop it, because it all starts there with the fullback.
They average 320 yards a game rushing. Last in the FBS in passing, so they've got to get it on the ground, and they get it here. Into Notre Dame territory goes Chris Carter, and that is what Army needs to do. Chunk after chunk after chunk.
It also, if you can be effective with the fullback dive and make the defense respect that and pay a little more attention, then the outside edge is going to be there, and he just follows Woolfolk on that one.
And here is Carter again for another good game. Boy, he gets low in that quarterback crouch. I mean, he's only 5'9". You can barely see him over the center if you're in front from this vantage point.
He is in such a low crouch. I don't know how. I mean, he did this in high school, and they say he's very comfortable doing it, so he wanted to continue that technique here.
And here he goes with a pitch, and it's another good game for Army. Jordan Asbury is on the loose. It's going to be first and goal for Army as the Black Knights have suddenly awakened on this drive. That is a gain of 37 for the sophomore from Cincinnati.
You get a little arc release by Brett Toth, and he's outside and seals, which creates that seam for your tailback on the outside. The tackle just feathered his way out to the outside and sealed everything from the inside, from the outside in. And it, like I said, it started with that fullback dive that was effective, and everything else works off of it.
When the option works, it is really poetry in motion to watch. And Army has had more of that type of operation on this drive. First and goal. And Carter gets down to the 3-yard line. Second and goal.
On that one, they flipped the offensive line over and have an extra offensive lineman to the right and try to outnumber you, either in a heavy look or an overloaded look offensively. See all your offensive line? Those are 3 offensive linemen to the right side. This is what Notre Dame was talking about. Army gives you a lot more formations than Navy did, and that's where the headaches come.
And here they go. They kind of reset. Take a look at the signs and the call from the sidelines. And Carter tries to turn it in again. Maybe gets a yard. That'll bring up 3rd and goal. So the Notre Dame defense stiffening here. Cole Luke was in there on the stop.
That time they flipped it over and went heavy to the left side, or a tackle over to the left side. Actually, I thought Carter might have had the pitch there.
Final few seconds of the opening quarter ticking off. There are those big placards on the sidelines that the Army offense takes a look at. And the time will run out of the opening quarter, which was all Notre Dame, returning the opening kickoff, 92 yards, couple of more touchdowns, but Army on the march here into the first quarter. Notre Dame 21, Army nothing. We'll return to Alamo Dome after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football, presented by Verizon. Game for both of these teams. Notre Dame needing to run out its string of final 3 to become bowl eligible, and Army in good shape, not in yet at 5-4. A win today obviously would be huge, but they've also got Morgan State and then their traditional big rival Navy coming at the end of the season, but that isn't until December 10th, so they will either be bowl eligible or not before the clash with Navy. And Army in desperate need of getting on the board here. 3rd and goal from the 3 as we begin the second quarter. And Carter is stuck right there at this 2-yard line, as this Notre Dame defense has really gotten tough.
Boy, the quarterback follow is one of their short yardage runs, and there was just nothing there. They love to fake the fullback and stay up, but there was nothing up inside, so he bounces it. Cole Luke involved in the tackle on the outside. The secondary is chasing the backs, and this is always 4-down territory for Army.
This is no problem going for it. They don't trust their field goal unit at all, and even with that on 4th and goal, it's a great opportunity to get the touchdown, especially down 21-0.
No doubt about it. You're down three touchdowns, and it doesn't look like Notre Dame's going to slow down much on offense. So when you have opportunities to get touchdowns, you got to go after it.
So the Irish call a timeout. Just 40 seconds into the second quarter, leading 21-0.
Yeah, they had a substitution issue there. Vaughn was running on the field and off, and if he had gone all the way out, they probably would have gotten a penalty for an illegal substitution. Brian Kelly ran down the sideline in a hurry to get the timeout called.
Storied series, Doug, through the years. Notre Dame leads it big time. They've actually won 14 straight. The last time Army beat Notre Dame was during its 1958 unbeaten season. And so a big history between these two institutions. A large part of it happening in the 40s, when this was really the premier college football rivalry, with all those national championships and Heisman Trophy winners. In fact, between 43 and 49, the teams combined for 6 national titles, 5 Heisman Trophy winners. And there's that last Army win back in 1958. But things happen, and we've seen anything this Notre Dame season. Notre Dame dropping it to Navy last week, and Army is on the board. Touchdown, Black Knights on 4th and goal. The ball get loose down there, and they recover it.
Well, Drew Tranquill came in right at the goal line and delivers a blow as he's fighting off his block. And he hits him right at the goal line.
Ooh, that's Kel Walker, the carrier for Army, and that was close. This will be looked at.
Contact was made before the goal line, but I don't know if the ball was out until he was over the goal line. And it has to be conclusive to overturn the touchdown call.
Call on the field is a touchdown.
I mean, contact's definitely just before the goal line, but is the ball out immediately?
Again, that was Tranquil who put the hit on Walker.
Ball's coming out pretty quickly.
But does it break the white stripe? That's tough.
And the angle there is tough. I mean, the ball's definitely coming out.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
It just couldn't tell.
No,
it wasn't conclusive enough to turn it, so that was a big-time call on the field as a touchdown. And the video could not reverse it. And so Army indeed on the board. And lining up for the extra point is Mitchell Howard. This is his first action in 5 games. He was hurt on the very first play of the Buffalo game, so kicking in all regards has been an absolute adventure for Army, and that's the latest example as Howard sprays it to the left. So 21-6 Notre Dame just into the second quarter. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. By AARP, real possibilities. By Bose, get closer. And by Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. Well, that's a look at Alamo City Gold and Silver right here in San Antonio. Owners David and Charlotte Putnam, huge Notre Dame fans, if you didn't already gather. Known for creating custom Fighting Irish jewelry out of their store right here in San Antonio.
And it's not just this week. It's full time.
Yeah, that's right.
We figured, just for this event, all the Notre Dame fans in town. No, that's full time right there.
This is Blake Wilson to kick off after Mitchell Howard missed the extra point, and that is just a pop-up down to about the 28-yard line. Penalties have really hurt Army early on here, Doug.
Yeah, when you're undersized, you can't have any extra mistakes. And here's an interference call where it would have been an incomplete pass on first down. Then the chop block, I don't know if he was engaged or not, but that's a tough call, but that puts him in a tough long yardage situation. And then the interference on the goal line to reset the downs and go first and goal. Again, everything has to fall Army's way. They have to play perfect football, and you can't have penalties. That's not part of the equation.
So out comes the Notre Dame offense. Now 21-6 after reeling off 3 touchdowns in a row. Army on the board. And Kaiser begins at his own 29-yard line. And they'll keep it on the ground to Adams. And he has been the most active and successful running back so far for Notre Dame, close to a first down. Jeremy Temp, another one of those active linebackers for Army on the tackle. Jeremy Temp, who leads the team in stops with 72 out of Sabino High School in Tucson, Arizona. Here's Adams again, picking up the first down and more. So no doubt who's winning the battle up front here, Doug.
Yeah,
offense. That's a gain of 11.
The blocking on the play before this was excellent. 71 bars here, keeps pushing his man wide, and creates a cutback seam. They can push people around up front right now, Notre Dame, and if you wanted to just zone block everything and just go wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder, and push the pile, they could go 6-7 yards at a clip.
Injured player for Army is Ryan England, so an injury timeout. We'll take a timeout from San Antonio. Top Performance is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Back in 2010, we talked about it earlier, the last time these two teams faced off. The Irish took on the Black Knights at Yankee Stadium. The teams had played 22 times in the house that Ruth built, so it was fitting that they would play the first ever football game in the Yankees' new home, and Notre Dame dominated the game on both sides of the ball, cruising to a 27-3 victory against the Black Knights of Army. That was Top Performances, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. So the first time Army and Notre Dame squaring off since that Yankee Stadium Shamrock Series clash. And on 1st and 10, Kaiser is going to go to the air and he's going to go deep downfield, and he had Stefferson. Ball was just on his fingertips. Catchable, yes, but not easy.
Stepherson was in full stride trying to run this down, and again, he closes the gap on McClinton, cruises by him with no safety help, and he laid it out. DeShone Kizer laid this ball out there. That's a tough catch. It's on his fingertips, and he is flying at full speed. But Kaiser's got to feel real comfortable standing in the pocket. He's double hitching and waiting and letting his receivers work open. He has time to throw.
That easily could have been Stepherson's second touchdown reception of the game. Had one earlier in the first quarter, 32-yarder from DeShone. Second 10 and an empty set. Kaiser's got some running room to the left, and he is going to pick up the first down, and the big 6'4" quarterback can really reach a quick gear and accelerate, and we saw another example of that in the gain of 25.
Nice job once he gets out. There was nothing there. There was good coverage and zone coverage. He gets to the perimeter. He weighs his receiver deep, which runs the defensive back off, and Kizer picks up easy yardage. By pump faking that ball and lifting it up, the defensive backs have to acknowledge that the ball can still be thrown, and you just back everybody off and run easily.
Boy, Kizer looks like a giant running back there, doesn't he? All those smaller Army players in the defensive secondary. That'll bring up second down and 9. Josh Adams with the carry. Earlier we showed you the Shamrock Series meeting between Notre Dame and Army in 2010 at Yankee Stadium. And Andrew King, who's from New York, from Queens, New York, was on the sidelines of that game as a Notre Dame recruit. We talked to him earlier this week when we made a visit to West Point, and he says, little did I know that I'd be playing for Army one day against Notre Dame, a school that obviously he revered and wanted to play for early on. We've got movement up front here as flags come in, but here is King, who has the ball. Just could not believe that it had all come full circle from being a recruit on the sidelines of that game for Notre Dame. Notre Dame backed off and didn't show any further interest, and here is Andrew King.
Full start. Number 53, offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
As a cadet playing for Army.
Well, Jay Bateman, defensive coordinator for Army, said, hey, I have a 5-year-old son that's around these guys a lot, and if he could turn out like King, I'll take that right now.
There was the penalty on Mustapher, who's had his moments this season. Another one there. So backed up, Kizer now is going to lose some big-time yardage all the way back at the 30, where Xavier Moss brings him down from his cornerback position.
Well, Moss makes a tackle, but it was Riley that was waiting there for him. He had probably a poor read on the zone read. Should have given that one up. Thought he could get outside. Riley stayed home, forced him to go deep, and then Moss finished up.
So now Army's got Notre Dame in a 3rd down and 14 and backed up. After the penalty and the drop for Kizer on the loss. Here they come again, and Kizer just gets rid of it nicely. I don't know how he did it, but now he's got a big gain going down the sidelines to Equanimous St. Brown, who picks up the first down. That was a nice throw on the run, awkward by Kizer.
Watch McClinton coming off the edge, coming through unblocked, sidesteps out of the tackle. Army has to bring different blitzes, has to move around. They can't stay stationary. They finally get the free rusher, but miss the tackle. And then just an amazingly athletic throw. You know, standing on one leg, breaking a tackle, delivers a ball that St. Brown can handle.
So suddenly it's 1st and goal after it was 3rd and 14. As the Irish look to build on this 21-6 lead. Play clock going down. Kizer calls for it. And he's going to get strung out for another loss. Good pursuit there by Kenneth Brinson. And you talk about a model player, athlete, student athlete, a perfect 4.0 GPA. This guy does it all, Brinson.
Play was designed to go up inside. Did not happen for him. He shouldn't have bounced. He's got to stick your nose up in there and don't lose yardage. Brinson containing on the outside. Yeah, he's a big time player, big time recruit.
In fact, Jay Bateman, the defensive coordinator, also said Brinson is a big factor why he actually came to coach at Notre Dame, because of the way the players can influence his young children. That is how meaningful it is to have that kind of positive influence. Kizer to a wide open Durham Smythe. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Smythe has taken it up the field, but it's King that jumps the underneath route, allowing Smythe to be wide open in the end zone. I don't know if there was a problem on the back end of the coverage as well, but King jumped the under route, allowing the upfield route to be free, so there was no one there in the middle of the end zone.
So that's the third touchdown of the year for Smythe. And Notre Dame increasing the big lead, now 28-6, less than 10 minutes left in the half. As Durham Smythe has been a bit more of a popular target for Kaiser recently. The tight end from Belton, Texas hauls it in, and Notre Dame is up big. So Durham Smythe has touchdowns in successive weeks against the service academies. Touchdown versus Navy was his second of the year, and the only touchdown receptions for a tight end for Notre Dame this season belong to Durham Smythe, who just hauled in his third, as Notre Dame has now made it a 28-6 lead. And their Army green and gold Shamrock Series uniforms, trying to make it a perfect 8-0 record in the Shamrock Series. Let's send you down to Catherine Tappan with a very special guest.
Yes, Dan, I'm joined by the Secretary of the Army, Eric Fanning. Eric, thank you so much for joining us here. Describe to me how significant it is that this game is being played on Veterans Weekend so close to so many military bases.
San Antonio is very important to the military. This is military country, USA, for all the services, not just for the Army, but for the Air Force, the Marines, the Navy. There's lots of serving military personnel right here and a very vibrant veterans community.
How has the experience been for you here at the Shamrock Series game with Notre Dame and Army?
It's great. This is a great old rivalry that's almost 100 years old, and so having this game in San Antonio on Veterans Day weekend is just fantastic.
Can you give us an insight as to what your day-to-day responsibilities are as Secretary of the Army?
Sure. The service secretaries are in charge of recruiting, training, and equipping, so it's really a lot of personnel issues. We've got 1.1 million people serving in the Army and about 250,000 civilians in the workforce, so a lot of my time is spent on people issues.
Well, Mr. Secretary, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the rest of the game here today.
Great. Thanks so much for having me.
Dan?
Thanks, Catherine. And Catherine, you and I, Doug, had the privilege of visiting the West Point campus earlier this week. It is an experience I will never forget. First time for me, and you haven't lived until you had lunch in about 25 minutes with 4,400 cadets. Just an amazing institution and history at Army. Kel Walker trying to get this drive going. That'll bring up third down. Cole Luke on the stop for Notre Dame.
It was the history of it for me that got me. I mean, to see the building that MacArthur actually stayed in while he was on campus as a cadet, to be around that atmosphere that you know has been there forever for us. And I just, you know, whether it's statues on campus or portraits of the former generals, it just really was amazing to me.
Oozes with history. Great leaders of our country. On 3rd and 8, Carter throwing it away. That'll bring up 4th down and 8. So this latest drive by Army sputtering here as they're not doing what Navy did to Notre Dame last week. 1 of 5 so far on 3rd downs, and that's what killed the Irish defense last week against the Middies.
The secondary of Notre Dame is doing a great job of eyeing their slot backs and chasing. They are responsible for slot backs in man-to-man coverage, and that includes when he becomes the pitchback going across formation, and they're just keeping their eye discipline and chasing their man.
So this is Jermaine Adams, and that was Fink, who was trying to get access to the ball, and he was interfered with there, and that's why you saw the flag. So here's 26 coming in
Personal
for
foul,
Army.
kick catch interference, number 26, kicking team, 15-yard penalty.
So we'll take a break with 8:01 left. Notre Dame up big, 28-6. Notre Dame, as an independent, has the ability to do this. The Shamrock Series, which started right back here 7 years ago at the Alamo Dome, the Yankee Stadium clash between Army and the Irish. And so it crisscrosses the country. Soldier Field, some of the great iconic venues in this country. Purdue and Lucas Oil Stadium, and then, Doug, it was an unbelievable experience at Fenway Park last year. Boston College, and then back at the Alamo Dome, as this is the first time that Army and Notre Dame have ever met west of Chicago in this series, which began all the way back in 1913. And Notre Dame and Kaiser for the first down, and then some, rumbling his way down to the Black Knight 36 for a huge gain of 23. Andrew King finally brought him down.
Three-man rush, so he has all day to look around. Couldn't find anything open, taking his time. This is a stroll in the park for DeShone Kizer. He's had all kinds of time to throw. And then when nothing is there, he's got the ability to slide out of the pocket and move and take his time as he gets on the perimeter, keep his eyes up the field.
Yeah, that'll work. A 10-plus yard average per carry for Kizer. He swings it out to the far side, and that is Chase Claypool with his first catch of the game. The freshman from British Columbia, Canada. That's just his fourth catch of the year.
I spent 2 years playing football in British Columbia.
Always warm up in those parts.
We had a dome stadium.
On second and short.
Can be a little rainy.
This time it goes to the near side, and that's Corey Holmes with a reception. So Kizer totally keeping the Army defense off balance. That one's good for 8.
So you have trust in your buddy. Claypool making the block. When you throw the ball out there, you're trusting that the receiver in the front is going to do his responsibility to make that block. If the defender can happen to slip that block quickly and get in the passing lane, you may be in trouble.
Kizer just having a field day. Josh Adams also with some good yardage. Close to another first down. Eddie Rusga from Wisconsin, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, brings him down.
Mark Harrell doing a good job on the right side. 75 coming off his block up to the linebacker level, creating that crease.
Second down and 2. Kizer gives it to Adams. Not able to really turn the corner. Gets it inside the 10, but does pick up the first down. So first and goal, Notre Dame already up 22. Brought down there by Jalen McClinton. And Brian Kelly. It's been one of those years, Doug, for Brian Kelly. Already assured of his worst season here at Notre Dame. Another loss would give him just his second losing season in his 26 years as a head coach. His team went 4-7 back in 2004 at Central Michigan, but hoping his players learned something down the stretch and pulled out a bowl-eligible season. That is Tarian Folston with his first carry of the game on first and goal. Second and goal. So all the close losses, yet another one by all 6 losses by 8 points or less.
That's the frustrating part for Brian Kelly. You knew he had a young football team and an inexperienced team, yet they were in every game with an opportunity, and in a couple of instances could not get the ball back at the end of the game. When, you know, I've talked to DeShone Kizer about it. If he gets the ball in his hands at the end of those games, he believes he's winning.
No other team in the FBS has more than 4 losses of 8 points or less. And it's another completion there to Stefferson. And we've got a flag at the
Illegal
12.
formation. More than 4 players in the backfield. Offense.
Once
5-yard
again.
penalty. Second out.
Again, both tight ends are off the ball. One of those two has to be on the ball. Normally would be the one to the left. So you've got 2, 4, 6 in the backfield.
Pretty clear cut.
Or 5 in the backfield, I'm sorry. And if you know the game of football, you're looking at each other and say, both of you should know one of you has to get on the line of scrimmage, even if you don't know the actual formation.
So now it's back at the 12-yard line. On second and goal, Kizer with plenty of time, pumps once, then goes to the end zone. Incomplete. Third and goal.
Boy, he waited a little too long. He still had an opportunity to get it to Stefferson. But the window is out in here, right out of the break. Now. Wait, drift over the middle. Now you're getting into the scary country, and he doesn't want to lead him into the middle where you're unsure what's going on in there. Ball ends up high and behind him. If you gotten the ball to him a couple steps quicker on that outside window, had another touchdown.
Kaiser up toward the line of scrimmage, changing the play. Play clock down to 1. They get it off. And on 3rd and goal, Kaiser with all day. Slings it across, a nice open field tackle there made by Jalen McClinton. And he upended St. Brown to bring up 4th and goal. And Justin Yoon on to attempt a field goal.
It's the nice job of playing the situation by Army, playing off, playing a zone. Actually, it was a zone blitz. Coming up and delivering a strike. Allow the guy to catch the ball in front of you, come up and make the hit by McClinton.
So in comes Justin Yoon to attempt a 27-yard field goal to make it a 31-6 Notre Dame advantage. And Yoon is inside the left upright. Kelly talking things over with Kaiser as that one sputtered for a touchdown, but Notre Dame not being challenged at the moment. Up by 25. It's the night you love to hate. It's on NBCSN. Sidney Crosby and the Pens face off against Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals. Wednesday night rivalry begins at 6:30 Eastern time on NBCSN. Beautiful day outside in downtown San Antonio, and a good day going for Deshaun Kaiser and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, looking for their 4th win of the season. And looking to run the table here to become bowl eligible and get themselves a little extra practice time down the stretch of December, Doug, for the young players who are whooping it up down on the sidelines just below us.
That is huge in the development of young players to have that extra month of practice.
Here comes St. Hilaire around the corner, and he's banged hard at the 25-yard line from behind. Well, there's Jeff Monken in his 3rd year as the head coach at Army. He spent 4 years at Georgia Southern before that. Football coaching in his genes, comes from a family of football coaches, but the formative years were under Paul Johnson, who was the head coach of Navy, where he started learning the option. Also spent some time with Paul at Georgia Tech, and then the time at Navy highlighted there because sometimes he has to prevent himself from making a slip and calling Army Navy. He spent such a
He said he's had a couple of slip-ups.
And then, of course, by far the biggest game for Army against Navy. Kaiser looking downfield, and it's a pass that is caught at the 45-yard line by John Traynor. 30 yards on the gain. From Carter to Traynor, but that
he got a little help from the ground.
Yeah, and they are going to buzz it and look at this one.
Completed catch is under further review.
He knows it too. He's like, darn, I thought I got away with it. I actually thought Carter was going down the sideline, going to go deep one-on-one. Instead, he threw the deep crosser. It was a beautiful throw, just a half a step out in front. Traynor lays out, gives it everything he can. That would have to be an Odell Beckham catch where it just stuck, and couldn't quite do that.
That's
great effort.
Easy call there. But that'll give you an idea of Carter's arm strength.
Yeah, Carter, they said that, you know, he has a quick release. He's very accurate with the ball up the field, maybe more so than Bradshaw. And they like him at the quarterback position. He's explosive with his legs.
After review, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 25-yard line. The clock is correct, and we'll start on the snap.
It's like an, oh, come on, give him a break. It's 31-6. Give him the play. Let's see what happens.
So no catch by Traynor. You know, Carter's had some good experience. They've had a habit, even though Ahmad Bradshaw is the clear starter for Army at quarterback, they usually put Carter in the 3rd series of each game, so he gets active in there. Although Bradshaw has had the vast majority of the snaps throughout the year. So on 2nd down and 10, Carter with a pitch to the outside to Asbury, and Jordan Asbury has the first down for Army. James Onwalu finally brought him down after a gain of 14.
Yep, got it to the outside, gets a good block on the edge. Defensive back, everyone has to have their eye responsibility. The defensive backs, the safeties, are eyeing those slot backs in man coverage and chasing across the field, and there was a little hesitation by Drew Tranquil, and he got outrun to the corner.
Carter keeps it this time. 2.5 minutes remain in the opening half. All Notre Dame, but Army trying to get something going here before the teams head into the locker room. And again, as the Notre Dame defense knows, you do not necessarily win on third down. This is a 4-down territory type of offense and team. On second down and 7, it's Woolfolk with another carry. He's short of the first down. That'll bring up third down.
But he kept the legs driving, and a part of this option game, knowing that they may go for it on fourth down, is for Army to fall forward. He was able to keep his legs driving, fall forward at the end of the run, get the extra yard, give you that down and distance that works for Army.
Now on third and short, and we've got movement as somebody fired out there in a hurry. Notre Dame says, didn't we have a false start?
It was actually an early snap. the offensive line did not move except for the center. So the play is live, and that ball was on the ground for a section.
So while they sort it out, we've got a timeout on the field with 1:38 to go.
Well, in defending the option, Notre Dame has decided they're going to play a lot more man-to-man coverage, and their safeties are one-on-one with these slot backs. If he goes in motion across, he's going with him. If he releases up the field, he's going with him. They're in coverage, and by being in coverage, they're also responsible for the pitch back.
Previous play counted, no flag. Carter had no gain, so it's now 4th and 2 from the 48. And Carter is going to be stopped short on fourth down. Julian Love, who had a really good game against Navy last week in the option attack. Very impressive performance. Had a career-high 8 stops. Makes the stop there.
Just a great reaction coming up on his side of the field and playing fast. Notre Dame has definitely simplified what they're doing defensively. As we said, man-to-man coverage, so they know their responsibilities right away and are playing fast.
And coming up, a reminder that it's the State Farm halftime report. Liam McHugh, Dahani Jones break down the first half. We've got Clemson in trouble. It is a tight one. The Tigers playing Pittsburgh. The last look, it was 21-20, one-point game, so they'll go down all of the action in college football, including Virginia Tech, Notre Dame's next opponent, playing Georgia Tech. This is Kaiser to the air after they take over on downs, incomplete, and it'll bring up second down and 10 with 1.5 minutes left in the half, intended for Nick Wisher.
Brian Kelly's, this is like shooting fish in a barrel for Deshaun Kaiser. He's standing there all kinds of time. It's like going 7-on-7 or just throwing routes for his air sometimes, and to miss a throw, Kelly can't understand it.
There are the numbers for Kaiser, the 2 touchdown passes, which bring his total for the year to 21. And he's got some more time. Steps out. And throws it out of bounds. 3rd and 10.
I actually love that decision of Deshaun Kaiser going towards the line of scrimmage. He knows he has all kinds of time. Maybe he could have gotten about 5 yards out of the run. But by hovering behind the line of scrimmage at the end of this, he's looking for a big play. Nothing developed. He didn't take any risks. He throws it away. But that's where a lot of big plays come. When you can get out of the pocket, just hover and wait for something big to happen down the field.
And he gets rid of it, and he gets rid of it to Folston. And Folston, short of the first down, bring up about 4th and 2. Jeremy Timpf, the leading tackler for the Black Knights, brings him down.
Look at Army standing up. Everybody is standing up in a gap, ready to come, and then they pull out. It's only a 3-man rush. Notre Dame actually had a very good play against zone coverage and calling a screen, but a great tackle by Timpf to minimize the gain.
Army timeout as Jeff Munkin talks things over with his team. Mentioned that Munkin comes from a family of coaches. His father, Mike, and a dozen or so family members have all coached at all levels, and we're talking high school all the way up to the NFL level. It's in his blood. It's what he does. We talked to him about being the head coach at Army. He said, I never served in the military, but the minute you come on the campus at West Point, become engaged with the scenery, the atmosphere there, you just become a part of it and respects it so much in his position.
And he said this is his way of serving. Special, I'll tell you what, coaches are special people. The time commitment to the kids, the time commitment to your craft. They don't see their families a lot. And everything is about the kids. Everything.
4th and 2. Kaiser trying to convert, and he does to Stepherson. So a fresh set of downs with just over a minute left. James Gibson combining with Jalen McClinton on the tackle.
Still plenty of time. The clock stops on first downs. 2 more timeouts for the Irish. Plenty of time to finish off this drive.
And once they place it, they wind it again. And Kaiser almost brought down, but before he gets rid of it. The ball is complete to Josh Adams. Stops the clock with 52 seconds to go.
Nice little job of working his feet within the pocket, keeping his left hand on the ball to see if it comes out. It came off a little bit. I'm one that just had the ball swinging all over the place, and now they coach ball security so well. He keeps on that left hand on the ball.
You were kind of an ad lib kind of guy, as I recall.
You think?
You just another flag, and we've got movement up there. Is that Alex Bars?
Number 71, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
In a competitive game where it's a 1-score ball game, where it's do or die, you need to score before the end of the half. Those are the type of penalties that kill drives. Now, today's a little different situation. Notre Dame's moving the ball extremely well. They could probably make up for it. But there's a lot going on for Brian Kelly to go home and coach tomorrow.
And at the moment, taking him out of field goal range. Ball back at the 31. Kaiser steps up across the middle, and it's a high throw. It's incomplete. It was intended for C.J. Sanders, and that has been a little bit of an issue for Kaiser down the stretch of this season. The last few games especially is not being the most accurate. He had a wide open C.J. Sanders and just was high.
Sanders kind of came under control a little bit. It still sailed on him anyway. It was a high throw. But it appeared that Sanders knew he was open and sort of idled it down and came under control, and maybe Deshaun Kaiser didn't anticipate that, but he also sailed the throw.
3rd and 8. Kaiser to the end zone. He's got a man, and it's caught in the end zone for the touchdown. Durham Smythe with another one. This time, 31-yard strike from Kaiser to Smythe.
It took him a while to find him. Smythe comes wide open up the seam again on this change release. Army is jumping the underneath route and allowing the one up the seam to be uncovered. Kaiser actually had to avoid rush, step back up. It was actually Sam Mustipher made a nice block in the backfield to allow him to step up, and then he found Smythe for the touchdown.
3rd touchdown pass of the game for Kaiser. 2 of them to Smythe. Unon for the extra point, and it's all Irish in the latest version of the Shamrock Series. Big numbers for Kaiser with 37 seconds left in the half. I don't think these guys remember what it's like to be out like this in front. All the games have come down to the final possession, seemingly.
And so much play into how you play is your confidence. When things got off to a great start for Notre Dame, with the opening kickoff being returned, a nice punt return, a couple of scores early, we've seen flashes of this out of the offense for Notre Dame. I know they're playing Army, and maybe they're a little outmatched, but still, when you play with confidence, it becomes easy.
Smythe has 2 catches, both good for touchdowns. Lots of smiles on the sidelines for Notre Dame. You know, when they got that win against Miami, when the Hurricanes came back with all those consecutive points in a row, okay, they held on, they got the win, things seemed to be turning around, and then the Navy game happens last week, which takes any momentum they had away, and the back-to-back games against the service academies. The loss against Navy, but looking like a W here against Army in the closing seconds of the opening half. St. Hilaire, a flag comes in, Good return by him. Another flag. There's multiple flags coming in here. I see 3 on the turf.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 15, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the penalty against Army. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup is on NBC. Drivers have one last chance to punch their ticket to the championship race as the chase heads to Phoenix. It's Sprint Cup racing from Phoenix tomorrow, 1:30 Eastern Time on NBC. A look at the current chase standings. 6-time Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards have already clinched spots in the race. You're fired up for this, Doug.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth is my boy. Matt, he kept me alive. We did that exhibition in the car. I'll tell you what, we're bumping in the cars in front of us, bumping in the rails. Matt's having a great year.
Tomorrow, by the way, the other 6 chase drivers race for the final 2 spots. We've got the final 28 seconds left here as Army has it. Nice gain for Darnell Woolfolk, who's been ailing with that shoulder injury. And the clock still rolling with 15 seconds left.
Sure, more advantageous just to run the clock out than try to do anything fancy.
And that's what they'll do. That will be the final play of the opening half. All Notre Dame. And just seconds into it, they stunned Army and gave the Irish fans something to celebrate here at the Shamrock Series when C.J. Sanders took the opening kickoff, 92 yards for a touchdown. 21-0 at the first quarter. Army did get on the board, missed an extra point, but that's all they've been able to muster. So it's 38-6 Irish at the half.
Big plays. It's been easy with the offensive line controlling both in the run game and in the pass game. Deshaun Kaiser's had all day to throw. He's looked very comfortable. Offensively, it's been easy for Notre Dame. They've done an excellent job against the option defensively.
Brian Kelly having some words with the officials.
There was something on the last touchdown drive that happened that he was discussing on the sideline, even after Notre Dame hit the big play.
Well, it all seemed to end on good terms there as we send it down to Catherine Tappan.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Coach, first and foremost, a discussion there with the referees. What is the confusion right now?
Yeah, just, you know, they're moving their front and they're using some words that are just like our cadence, so it's given us a couple of procedure penalties. So anything in those situations, we just got to clear up. We got to clear it up, so we're good to go.
Up 32 points at the half. What will your points of emphasis be for this team going into the second half?
We got to keep playing hard. I mean, look, we won 3 football games. I mean, we're starting to play well. We're playing with a lot more execution on both sides of the ball and in special teams. This is an opportunity for this football team to grow.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Dan?
Thank you, Catherine. It's a 3-6 team against a 5-4 Army team. Halftime at the Alamo Dome as Notre Dame up 38-6. Don't forget the halftime performance of the Notre Dame band can be seen on NBCSports.com. In the meantime, to Liam McHugh in our NBC Sports studio.
Football really has worldwide appeal. And he lets a long ball fly. Receivers out there. Caught by Notre Dame for the end zone for the touchdown. Fighting down the sidelines. Touchdown Notre Dame. But then it's picked off for a touchdown.
Guys are going right to the fade route. And what a catch. And he gets it for the 6. First half stats brought to you by Verizon, and the rushing yards, which really is the calling card for Army, under their average. They average 320 a game. They've attempted just 2 passes, no completions, and Notre Dame again up big 38-6, totally dominating this game. 38-6 as Army will get the ball first. This is John Cherison kicking off for Justin Yoon. He did that in the Miami game when Yoon had some tendonitis in the leg, and I get the feeling we're going to see some other backups as well throughout the rest of this second half as we send you down to Catherine Tappan.
Well, Dan, I just spoke to Jeff Monken at halftime, and he said he didn't think his team could play any worse than they're playing right now. He said, we're self-destructing on special teams. We're punting too often. We're not blocking. He said, we gave up the longest kickoff return since I've been at Army. He said, we've got to get better fundamentally, cover them. We can't let them punt. And he said, unless this changes, it's going to get really ugly, Dan.
It already isn't very pretty for Army. Down big as Chris Carter again in for Ahmad Bradshaw, gives it off to Darnell Woolfolk, and he starts things off with a very good game close to the first down marker. Bring up second and about 1.
Really nice job off the give. Get the double team push. He stays right behind it. When the fullback give starts working, that's when everything opens up for the option.
There you go, right up the middle, and absolutely free is Woolfolk. All the way down close to the Notre Dame 25-yard line before Onwalu finally brings him down. So it's Woolfolk, 1-2 in the first 2 plays. That one good for 38.
You got 2 great blocks. You're coming down in 65. Holland, the center, gets up the field on the linebacker, Morgan, and that's what sent it even into the secondary level. But at the point of attack, great job.
Make that a 40-yard game for Woolfolk, who gained 9 on the first play. And Army in business, and this time they're not going to let Woolfolk get after those 2 big gains.
Well, any coach will tell you the first part is you have to stop that dive. Usually you're assigning 2 players to the dive back, 2 players to the quarterback, and 2 to the pitch back on either side. I know that would be 6 guys. You got 6 and 6. No, you only have 11. 1 guy plays in the middle of the field.
Leading rusher Woolfolk quickly with 75 yards after those 2 big gains. On second down and 9, he takes a break, and Carter goes to the air and trying to reach up and grab it. No flag, as he wanted Tyler Campbell. But there was some contact here, Doug.
Yeah, but this ball's got to be thrown over here. Throw it across the field. Yes, he slows down. He goes up for the ball. There is contact. Love closing a little bit early, fraction of a second early. They don't make the call, but boy, if that ball's put across the field at all, it's a walk-in touchdown.
That was the ever-aggressive Julian Love making the contact there on Campbell. 3rd and 9. And it's Carter on the keep, and Carter picks up the first down. Chris Carter continuing to play for Ahmad Bradshaw, the regular starter, with a nice gain.
He gets the fake, and it was Greer Martini that got sucked in a little to the inside. Niles Morgan late at the linebacker lever chasing. Just a good read and good explosiveness. He had Carter hits that crease with great quickness.
So Army marching down the field here against Notre Dame. And keeping it right up the middle, down to the 8-yard line is Masick, who ran for over 100 yards earlier in the season against Lafayette when Woolfolk and Andy Davidson, who has not played this game, were out with injury. So Army's been piecing it together at the running back position for much of the year. Takes it, keeps it, and now Notre Dame's there to meet him for a loss. Greer Martini, who the Notre Dame coaches call the best option defender, brings down Carter for a loss.
Greer's on the end of the line, closes it down, takes the dive back and the quarterback all in one. Closes down, gets a piece of the dive back, reaches back for quarterback. That's just the play before that broke on the quarterback run. I thought Greer actually hesitated and put his eyes in on the dive back and was late getting the quarterback. There he kind of played both at once.
Martini had the big game against Navy with 11 stops. And on 3rd and 9, Carter is dropped for a sack, and flashing in is again Martini.
Just totally unblocked coming off the backside.
Loss of 5 on that play.
Looked like Griffin on the wing, who as a wingback probably should have turned out to block Martini in pass protection.
And we've got a field goal attempt here for Army. Doesn't happen very often. 33-yard attempt by Blake Wilson. Earlier you saw Mitchell Howard miss an extra point, and Wilson can't connect. So there's another example of the kicking nightmares that Jeff Monken and the Black Knights have been experiencing all season. So in the end, after the good drive, they come away with nothing. Notre Dame football is being brought to you by Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above. By Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow. By Lexus. See your Lexus dealer. And by State Farm, here to help life go right. Might be in our future there. Doug, a little trip to the Riverwalk here in downtown San Antonio. Beautiful day outside. Very comfortable inside the Alamo Dome. And the Irish comfortable with a big lead, 38-6, after Army came up with nothing in the previous drive. Josh Adams across to the 22-yard line for a gain of a couple. Kenneth Brinson on the stop for the Black Knights. Had a feeling we might see Malik Zaire early in this third quarter, but Kaiser remains at the controls for Notre Dame, and that ball is dropped. C.J. Sanders had it, dropped it.
Feel a little let down here by Notre Dame at the beginning of the second half. Not quite the energy level they came out with. Army put not to take anything away from Army, came out, put a nice drive together, but gashed it with the fullback a couple of times, and now a drop pass, not a great run on first down. Army's not going to quit.
That was a killer to come away with nothing on that previous drive, when it looked like they could have been headed to the end zone and another missed field goal. And chased out of the pocket is Kaiser on 3rd and 8. It's complete to Stepherson. And he gets the first down.
Boy, Kaiser just using his legs. The pass rush coming through scot-free. I mean, that's Voight, John Voight coming through. No, not the actor. They all stand up in there. They're in a gap. They've pulled out a number of times a 3-man rush. This time they come with it. They have a free rusher right up the middle, and the athleticism of Kaiser allows him to make a play.
Kaiser going way downfield and not even expecting it was Stepherson. You know, there was interesting comments from Kaiser last week after the latest loss. He said that, you know, here we are at this point in the season, and we're still trying to get an offensive identity. I mean, remember last year with Will Fuller, I mean, it was easy. They took the long shots and picked their opportunities in the air. Then they had the running back game going. This year it's been a little kind of searching for the right combination.
They haven't been consistent running the football. They've had a lot of young receivers, guys get nicked up, in and out of the lineup, not real solidified in the offensive line across the board, so they're still searching.
And Army's got Josh Adams wrapped up for a loss. The ball came loose, but I believe it's down for a big loss of 3.
Even if the ball is out before he hits the ground, which is very close here, it's starting to be ripped. Maybe his hip was on the ground. Momentum and forward progress had definitely been stopped. They're going to review it, though.
They're going to take a look.
Ruling on the previous play, if the runner was down prior to losing possession, is under further review.
The point I'm trying to make is that the run was...
Well, we're going to let your comment come through when we come back, as well as let the officials sort out. So don't go anywhere. Doug Flutie coming your way. Oh, I mentioned the Heisman dynasty between these two schools. You've got Mr. Inside, Doc Blanchard, Mr. Outside, Glenn Davis, Heisman Trophy winners back in the mid-40s, and then all those Notre Dame Heisman Trophy winners as well, and the storied rivalry through the years. A host of players from both schools. And when we visited West Point, we came across this statuesque group, which included the 1984 winner. Doug Flutie staring down Blanchard, Davis, Red Blake, the coach there, and Pete Dawkins, the other.
I couldn't believe they put a wax figure in there of me.
Looked like something, you're right. You were stoic. So forward progress not reviewable, so 3rd and 13. Kaiser's going to run for the first down anyway. So when we went to break, it looked like there was a play under review. We weren't sure if the forward progress came after the fumble. Anyway, so there was forward progress that was stopped, and so it was not reviewable, and so it was the 3rd and 13, and Kaiser picks it up, getting 15.
You go 3-man rush on Deshaun Kaiser, he's going to hold on to the ball, make something happen either with his arm or his legs.
Up to 69 yards is Kaiser with a big first down. And this time he lets Josh Adams do the work, and Adams just running his way, bowling his way up to the Army 45 before Brinson brought him down after a gain of 12. That looks a lot more like the Josh Adams of last year.
Yeah, he stretched this out, stretched the offensive line. Actually, Alex Burrs did a heck of a job, and finally he found the north-south creeks and takes off. He's a big, strong boy with exceptional speed when he gets to the second level.
Yeah, that Notre Dame freshman record, 835 yards last year. And so Adams picks up the first down. Kaiser had a big run to pick up one earlier. And now he's play action and going for it all down the middle. And that pass is nicely deflected by Jalen McClinton.
It's the right read by Kaiser on the backside post. Again, if he can throw this across the field, he's got a chance. But McClinton was in good position, recovered, made a play on the ball in there. And it looks to me like Deshaun Kaiser wants to hold on to the ball as long as possible, let his guys run and air it out a few times. He likes slinging it down the field.
The numbers for Kaiser impressive. And it adds up to a 32-point advantage at the moment. 2nd down and 10. Kaiser wants Miles Boykin. Never had a chance.
Well, Brinson got out underneath this route. He thought he had an easy free access throw on the outside, and Brinson just went way out there underneath it. Didn't allow him an avenue to throw the football. So he just sailed it over his head, lived to fight another down. 3rd and 10.
Well, the coaches tell us that Brinson went, what, 198 as a wrestler in high school. He's a shot putter, discus thrower on the track team. Impressive indeed.
He referred to his SATs as perfect.
Yeah. He's got a 4.0 in chemical engineering. He's got a future. Kaiser complete down over the middle for a Notre Dame first down to Nick Wisher with just his 3rd catch of the year and a gain of 19.
Inside guy, another tight end body going down over the middle of the field. This is a legitimate throw and catch. Not bad coverage, safety closing in a hurry. Ball, that was good timing. Kaiser's held on to a few a little too long and thrown a little late just to air it out. That was nice timing.
And Kaiser with a play action, trying to turn the corner before James Gibson runs him out.
I mean, even this play was very well defended, but it was pure speed by Kaiser to bounce it around the corner on Gibson. Gibson has contained on the outside. He reads it, he decides to keep it, goes to the outside. He just can't catch him. Both England and Gibson had outside leverage.
2nd down and 7. And Kaiser gives it to Folston, who's got room and another first down. Close to the 15-yard line goes Tarian Folston. who's been making his way back since an ankle injury earlier in the season against Duke. He had just some 16 carries over the last 3 games, getting some time here.
Nick Wisher on the pull gets a really nice block on the backside on the kick out. So he catches a pass. Now he's in his rhythm. Now he feels like hitting somebody. Pull me, coach.
Here they go to the right side to Folston. And Folston is corralled from behind by Andrew King. The King of Queens, as they like to call him, Andrew King from Queens Village, New York. And it was a little bit of a possible horse collar there. No, I don't think you've got his hand inside the shoulder pad. So that looked...
Andy didn't grab. He just, the hand slid over.
Yep.
If he had held on to something, there was a chance.
What an impressive young man he is. We had a chance to eat lunch with him along with 4,400 other cadets the other day. This is C.J. Sanders, who had the kickoff return for a touchdown to start the game. And King in his senior year at West Point, 4th all-time in tackles for losses with 32 coming into the game. Just an impressive young man. You know, if the football thing doesn't work out for King, he is going to be successful. The coaches tell us about how he breaks down film. Smartest guy in the room. 3rd and 3. Adams short of the first down.
Talking to Alex Ackerman about King, he's like, you know, he gets us lined up. He makes sure everybody's in the right spot. He knows the defense inside and out. He's our leader, both vocally on the defense and physically. You know, going sideline to sideline. Everything you want in a Mike linebacker.
You don't think he's up? We've got guys coming across.
I like it, though. It's 4th and short. He wants to get off the field. He's going to take a chance, anticipating a snap count. And he went after, hey, if you're going to make a mistake, make it full speed, right?
Offside, number 11, defense. After this is to the goal.
What the heck, right?
Hey, if you're going to do it, you do it at full speed.
King says, I remember how you guys passed on me back in 2010 when I was at that Shamrock Series.
Yes.
Game.
That was just for that. You didn't offer me? All right.
He brought it up to us, actually. He said, you know, it's funny how things come full circle. So the 4th down erased, 1st and goal. And Kaiser to the end zone, and it's picked off by Xavier Moss. End of drive for Kaiser and company. He wanted Durham Smythe.
Moss comes all the way from the middle of the field on the interception. I'll tell you what, Deshaun Kaiser's things have been coming a little bit too easy for him, and he forced the issue.
So that's the end of a 16-play drive. The pick by Xavier Moss. A look at our quarterback comparison brought to you by Scott Trade. And as you look at the numbers, Doug, not a lot to really compare. It's been a tough day for Carter. Deshaun Kaiser, 3 touchdown passes. The pick by Moss on the previous series, which stopped a good drive.
It wasn't there initially, and down on the goal line, when people sit down in coverage and you try to hang with it, things have been coming too easily. So he felt like, I can stick it in there. I'll just get a little greedy here and stay with it. But as they flow across, the windows are tight down there. Moss steps in front.
Moss, one of the leaders on this Army team. Carter's going to go to the air right away down the middle, and he's looking for Poe, and that ball is in the hands of Cole Luke as it was tipped away from Edgar Poe, the big 6'4" target of Army.
Really on the field is an interception. 1st down, Notre Dame.
And Luke cradles it. Did the ground help him hold possession? That'll be looked at.
Dante Vaughn on the coverage gets a hand in there, deflects it in the air. We got to get the backside angle again. Full extension. That ball probably touched the ground.
So they're going to sort that out. Cole Luke looking for yet another interception. they've just completed the official review on Cole Luke's interception call on the field, and they have reversed it after looking at this.
He initially gets his hands under the ball, starts to control it, but definitely touching the ground, and you have to, the ball can touch the ground if you have full control of it first. He did not.
So no interception. And Army with a 2nd down and 10 from its own 14. And up the middle, moving the pile pretty good as Wolf Folk has had a number of good carries today for the Black Knights.
There was a good push in there by Deaton, Jackson Deaton at the left guard position, 73. You know, there have been some positive gains, most of them coming from the fullback position on the dive for the Army.
So 3rd and 5 for Army.
Is it 4-down territory on your own 18?
With a score and everything that's happened with the kicking game, I would say yes. Carter. Oh, unable to hang on is Edgar Poe, who was involved in that previous play with Cole Luke. Edgar Allan Poe Jr. Yes, the same name as the famous poet. And the target for Carter there as the search goes on for the very first completion of this game.
I thought he had it there. Poe's a decent receiver. He runs good routes. He has excellent hands, goes up for the ball well. There, that was a drop.
And if you're wondering, yes, Edgar Allan Poe, he asked his grandfather why he named his father Edgar Allan Poe, and he got 10 different answers, right?
Yeah, and a joke every time. I mean, nothing serious.
This is not a good punt by Jermaine Adams. And the ball takes a Notre Dame bounce, so the Irish will have excellent field position. No catches for Edgar Allan Poe so far today. Monday's #1 new drama, Timeless, travels to 1972 for the biggest presidential scandal in history. All new Timeless Monday on NBC. That fortress you see there in the background goes back a little further than 1972. 300 years plus for the world-famous Alamo just down the street. That famous battle back in 1836. And Notre Dame, after an 18-yard punt, with excellent field position, and here goes Tarian Folston, close to another 1st down.
Again, Nick Wisher coming off the wing position, coming in and cracking over the nose. He's getting his fill now. Watch him come from the left side, 82. Nice little crack block. Folston up through the middle.
And here's Folston again. After picking up the 1st down. Speaking of the Alamo, you went over and visited a little bit, didn't you? Our hotel right across the street from...
Took a quick walk around yesterday, and then early this morning went into the Mission, the church area, which is the most historic of it all. And it amazes me. Can't fathom how it was about 183 versus 1,500. Holding it down.
I don't know.
I think I would have snuck out 3 nights earlier and taken the, you know, I don't know. You stand up, it's amazing, and we talk about history when we go up to West Point. We talk about history here. It just fascinates me.
So Folston comes out of the game on 2nd down and 2. A minute and a half left in the 3rd. Kaiser fakes it to Adams, goes to the left side, and picking up the 1st down inside the 5 is Chris Fink. Getting a little more action today. Again, Torrey Hunter Jr. not playing today for Notre Dame, out with a knee injury. And by the way, as Fink hauls that in, we're told that Torrey Hunter should be okay next week for Virginia Tech. As Folston gets close to the goal line for a touchdown. Second touchdown of the season for the senior from Cocoa, Florida.
Where he just keeps those legs driving. He runs over Riley, the freshman corner, trying to make the stick around the 2-yard line. Keeps fighting for that goal line.
Pretty good sequence there by Folston. Gains of 10, 10, and 8. And then he takes it in from 2 yards out for the score to make it 44-6. Justin Yoon to make it a 45-6 game with less than a minute remaining in the third. No, he missed it.
These are the things that drive Brian Kelly crazy. You know, you're having a good day. Everybody's feeling good about themselves on special teams throughout the day. The hold looks pretty solid. And just a pull left. I'm in the woods taking a penalty stroke.
So Kelly having a little chat with a kicker. Been a pretty accurate year for Justin Yoon. 32 of 34 now on extra points. Pretty consistent leg throughout this tumultuous season for Notre Dame, but those are the little things, Doug.
I tell you, you know, last week was a one-point game, right?
And who knows when Virginia Tech comes to town next week, and then on the road at USC. Those are the two games remaining after what should be a W here for the Irish as John Cherison kicks off again for Yoon.
As they're trying to fight to be bowl eligible, there's no room for error. And you get into a tight contest, 1 point can lose it for you.
So this is St. Hilaire coming out to the 20-yard line. As we take a look at the pulse of this game, C.J. Sanders, seconds in, made it a 7-0 Notre Dame lead with a 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, a second of his career. It's been a big day for Kaiser through the air and on the ground. 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Durham Smythe. And the Notre Dame defense, not a single pass completed against it, just 6 points allowed so far.
If I'm the quarterback, I'm running a shovel pass and getting a completion. It's Magoo and a quarterback.
It is indeed Malik Magoo, number 16, who takes over now for Chris Carter. Again, Ahmad Bradshaw.
And how tall is he?
5'8".
I love it.
Another one for the little guy.
Yeah. We got him everywhere. Between he and Carter, they make one Deshaun Kaiser. Is that...
Punt returner, slot guy, and with the injured Bradshaw, we knew Malik was going to be the backup quarterback. So 2 Maliks as backup quarterbacks today in this game. I have a feeling we'll see Zaire as well in just a bit. Woolfolk with another call. Picks up the first down, and that should bring us to the end of quarter number 3. Notre Dame in the 8th Shamrock Series game. End of 3. Up big. We'll be back to the Alamo Dome after these messages from your local NBC station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC, presented by Verizon. Dan Hicks, Doug Flutie, Catherine Tappan back to start the 4th quarter. The score by quarter is brought to you by Verizon. All Notre Dame in the first, going out to a 21-0 lead. And 44-6 as we begin the final 15 minutes. Army with the football at its own 31. And again, it's Malik Magoo's taken over for Chris Carter, and we've got a pass completed to John Traynor.
Simple little pass, little quick drop, Traynor into the flat, stick him in the chest, completion. Look how low Magoo is getting the ball from center. Oh my goodness. I mean, he's only 5'8" to begin with, if that. And that low crouch that they go into for the option game.
And he gives it off for a good gain in the option attack. Woolfolk brought down by Jerron Jones. He was a question mark coming into this game because of his style of play and his physical makeup. 6'5", 315, had the huge game against Miami. The coaches said they were reluctant to put him in last week against Navy because he didn't fit the style, and really, to be honest, weren't exactly excited about his preparation in the way that turned out, but he improved a little bit this week, they say, and so Magoo is really sandwiched in there just across the 40, but appears to have picked up the first down.
You know, Jones 2 weeks ago against Miami was in the backfield all day, penetrate. That's his game, penetration. Get up the field, hit a gap, go through a guy, play aggressive. And this sit-back, read style of defense is tough on a big man, especially with small offensive linemen trying to get into your legs.
Played just 12 snaps against Navy last week. No tackles. And as Kelly called it, this is a different animal, this option, defending it. And a pitch to the outside to Tyler Campbell, who's pursued well. Jalen Elliott, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia, leading the way.
Well, Cole Luke does a great job on the outside of replacing the blocker and coming up to make the hit. His wide receiver, instead of coming at him, ran in to block a safety, so he charges forward, makes the hit.
So it is a difficult proposition, Doug, to face two option teams back-to-back weeks. We talked with Brian Kelly about it. And we've got another pass complete. This is Christian Poe, yes, the younger brother of Edgar Poe, who actually filled in for Edgar earlier in the year when older brother broke his hand and Christian took over. And by the end of it, he's only a sophomore. It was Edgar telling us that Christian has a higher ceiling than he does. 6'3", almost as tall as his brother. Says he may turn out to be even better than big brother.
He says, you know, same body type, but a little more speed.
By the way, there's a third Poe brother who was just offered at Army, Dakota Poe, who's a running back. Also out of Tucson, Arizona, and Cienega High School Bobcats. And for more on the Poe brothers, we go down to Tap.
Well, Dan, that's why the Poe brothers' parents aren't here. Dakota is enriched in a playoff run out in Tucson, but these two are very close. Edgar told us that his younger brother is his best friend. He tries to be the best role model and mentor he can to Christian. He said Christian has the makings to be a better football player than he is, and he would love nothing more than to see Christian set records at West Point. As you mentioned, it was Christian that also stepped in to fill the shoes of Edgar, and the two are extremely close, as are the rest of the siblings. There are 5 total in the Poe family. Dan?
In the meantime, Malik McGew is off and running down just outside the 10-yard line for a gain of 31. Who needs the top two quarterbacks?
Hey, I thought he was going to have a chance down the field, but pressure gets on him right away. He sidesteps Coney and takes off, gets a block. Now, he's a kick returner. He's got that elusively in the open field, making people miss. Nicely done.
He was a prep school quarterback as well from Johnson City, Tennessee. 5'8", 170 pounds in for Chris Carter. And a nice pitch. He's got a little option flow going down here. John Trainer gets the flip.
Boy, he did a nice job on this, getting it out there in a hurry, and Trainer had the edge, and Tranquil comes from across the field to just get a piece and pull him down.
So Army on the doorstep here at Notre Dame, just minutes into the final quarter.
I crack up looking at the stance of the quarterback.
I know, you can barely, his head is just above the center. Oh, and that one is almost blown up there, as it was a late toss there from McGew to Asbury, and they nearly separated Jordan Asbury from the football.
You know, if he had an opportunity to get rid of this just a fraction sooner, Asbury might get the corner and score. Lucky to get the ball back. Might be Troy Pride diving in there. These numbers are hard to read.
There was Pride, the freshman. So 3rd and 6. And pressure on McGew, and down he goes, and it's Onwalu who rushed him and sacked him for a loss of 7.
Not a chance. No one picking up on Onwalu coming off the backside. He's end of line. Tackle comes down. A free run at the quarterback. And even a punt returner can't make him miss there.
Onwalu in his final season for Notre Dame has been that steady guy. Give me a position, I'll play it. He's played 3 in his career at Notre Dame. Started every game this season. We had a chance to talk to him. He's just a couple of classes away from graduating in December. And on 4th and 12 and down 44-6, you bet you go for it. And McGew to the goal line, and that ball is loose. Is it intercepted? Yes. And that's Julian Love with the pick.
It's fourth down. You're going to have to put it in the air. He holds on to it off the dash, gets outside, and tries to stick it in there. He had to make a throw somehow, some way. It was fourth down.
Irish take over. Notre Dame football is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% on car insurance. By Scott Trade. Now is your moment. By Lincoln Motor Company, the new 2016 Lincoln MKX. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Go for 2. Pep rally outside the Alamo last night. Well, we've got a change at quarterback for Notre Dame. Malik Zaire making an appearance here with 8:51 and promptly drops the football.
His knee was on the ground as he recovered it.
Not the way Malik wanted to start his latest series. Of course, you look back at the Mustafa-Zaire exchange earlier in the year, which resulted in a safety at Miami. When he came into the game and Kaiser had thrown those first 2 quick picks in the second half, that was the last time we saw Malik Zaire.
That was a shotgun snap, which became the safety.
And of course, the preseason battle between Deshaun Kaiser and Malik Zaire for the spot. They both played at Texas. Excuse me, it was the Stanford game with the bad snap in that game that resulted in a safety, but it was Kaiser's job that he beat out Zaire, and it's been all sorts of speculation that is Zaire going to hang out, transfer, you know.
A lot of questions at the end of this season at the quarterback position.
And this is what he can do so well, spinning his way. He had long had the first down. It looked like he thought he might be reaching for it, but he gains 12 and picks up the first down.
I was getting ready to say he's had some bad luck with the exchanges. When he's gotten in the game, he hasn't had the opportunity to move the football and put some plays together. Rolling out, finding a crease, and just taking off using his athleticism. Now he has an opportunity to get into a groove and run a few plays back to back.
He's got 7 minutes and 20 seconds here to kind of get back into the groove with this offense. As he gives it to Folston, who's close to another first down. It's a much better situation for him here than it was in the previous game that we talked about. Coming in relief of Kaiser.
When he came in relief, he had a quick 3 and out. He had to throw a third down and long pass that went incomplete, and he's off the field. The next time he steps on the field, first play, the snap's over his head out of the end zone. So he really didn't get much of an opportunity to show what he can do and maybe win the team back in his mind. But he is a heck of an athlete with a very strong arm.
And here he goes. He's got hung up there with his own player, but he picks up the first down. He kind of ran into Mustafa, the center. Alex Ackerman with the tackle for Army.
Well, it was Andrew King penetrating across Mustafa's face. Number 11, King, pushes across, forces the cutback. He's not going to stop playing.
Well, he's got one shot in his career against Notre Dame, and it may be out of hand, but you'll always get the effort from Andrew King and all of these Black Knights to the final whistle. And Zaire's pass complete over there to Miles Boykin, number 81.
I get the feeling there's going to be a play where he hangs on, either hangs onto it for a while and takes off on a long run, or hangs onto it for a while and hits somebody wide open downfield.
Not many catches for Miles Boykin as of late. In fact, coming into the game, just one catch against Miami in the last 4 games. But with Hunter out and the score as it is, Brian Kelly looking at a full complement on offense. Spinning his way for more first down yardage is Tarian Folston.
Yeah, with 5 minutes on the clock, the only throws that may come out of it now are those wide receiver screens where Zaire just decides to throw the not a hot read, but more like what we call smoke, where the corner's way off. So it would be his choice.
And Kelly's going to be happy to have these option teams out of the way. Virginia Tech coming to town. By the way, Georgia Tech, I don't know if they've already won the game, but on their way to beating Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech today. So the Hokies are going to come to Notre Dame Stadium licking their wounds. Well, Sunday night is football night as the crew is in Foxborough. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks take on Tom Brady and the Patriots. Sunday night football. Football Night in America kicks it off at 7 Eastern time on NBC. That will be a good one. Your former squad.
Tom's the man. That's all I'm going to say. Tom is the man. That's all I'm going to say. Airing a football or not, I don't care.
I thought that's all you were going to say.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Holston,
as I say, a little more.
Looking for a first down, just going to be short of it. But so now the task comes against Virginia Tech and at USC to keep Brian Kelly's perfect bowl, postseason bowl history intact at Notre Dame.
It's a tough chore. They're inexperienced. They've got a lot of young guys playing. They're coming together as a team still, finding their way. And Virginia Tech is so improved. USC is so talented.
Georgia Tech and head coach Paul Johnson doing a number on Virginia Tech today, an option team where Jeff Monken learned the option. Tarian Folston picks up the first down there. And there's a look at the last two games. The final game on NBC, Senior Day at Notre Dame Stadium, and then as they do when they visit USC, Thanksgiving weekend, taking on a much improved USC team that started off a little tough but has been playing some very good football as of late. Notre Dame up big with 3.5 left. But we talked about it. Next Saturday, the Fighting Irish back home to South Bend, take on the Hokies. Final home game of the season, Virginia Tech. And even though on their way to losing to Georgia Tech today, because North Carolina lost to Duke the other night, still in contention for the Coastal ACC title. So Virginia Tech, still a lot to play for as they visit Notre Dame Stadium on NBC next Saturday. 3:22 left here. And Malik Zaire with a run along the left side for a loss.
Malik's dying to get a crease. He would love to take off on a 40-yard touchdown run and just get the opportunity to show his athleticism again and do something big. But, you know, in the mode of running the clock out, not trying to run anything up here. People rotating in and out all along the offensive line.
Zaire's going to give it to Folston. Folston's going to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage, and that's going to bring up 3rd and long. Before Elijah Riley, number 23, corner for Army, brought him down.
So this is where it's 3rd and long. You don't want to run the score up, but Zaire's dying. So let me throw this thing down the field. Let me make a play. And the coach is going to make the call and be conservative.
And we've got some substitutions going on with the game in hand. Monken's back to the drawing board. They've got Morgan State. They could still get into a bowl game. And then they've got the big clash against Navy. And this is a big game by Folston inside the 30. And we were on the West Point campus, and not until you get to that campus do you fully realize how obsessed and how important the Army-Navy game is. It's everywhere you look. Beat Navy.
Don't they have a Beat Navy house? Didn't we see a Beat Navy house? I mean, the house, that's the name of the house. It's just year-round. That's in the back of their mind. It's in the forefront of their mind, even while they're playing other opponents.
I mean, there are rivalries, and then there's Army-Navy. It is just a phenomenal game coming up on December 10th after Morgan State. And here is that run that you know Zaire is aching to get. Moss tracks him down. But it's good to see Malik Zaire out there.
It really is.
Gain of 11.
Done a lot. He hasn't stopped working hard at the quarterback position. Ready at any given moment, any game. You never know when your number is going to be called. He stayed prepared.
And you've been in that situation, Doug, countless times. You've been the starter, then you've taken a step back, and you've been the guy that's waiting for his chance.
One of the hardest things to do is to know you're not going to play and still prepare as if you're going to be the starter and be ready for that moment. The motivation on a weekly basis to continue to prepare at the backup quarterback position is very difficult.
Full start. Number 60, offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
An unfortunate broken ankle cost him the starting job, and he never was able to regain it.
And Kelly was insistent that after seeing him in camp that he wasn't going to be able to make the decision until close to the first game. Still said in the Texas game that this is an ongoing quarterback battle between Kaiser and Zaire, and then Kaiser was the man clearly after the Texas game.
He has shown the ability to stand in the pocket, throw the ball around. An NFL-style quarterback, we're talking Kaiser. And I think what people didn't realize was how athletic DeShone Kizer is as well when he takes off and runs.
Well, we got more movement up there.
Brian Kelly is not going to be happy with
substitutions.
Full start. Number 60, offense, 5-yard penalty. First down.
All you can do is chuckle.
John Mondelus in there getting some action, getting a couple calls. He says, Kelly's just like, geez, we give you a shot in there, guy. Let's
everybody on the sideline can go there, line up, and just stay on side. Now, they may not block anybody or move. So now they're just going to kneel down, get under center.
So this is going to be a 4-6 team.
Yeah, stay in the gun and kneel down.
That welcomes the Hokies of Virginia Tech to South Bend next week. As the final seconds tick off, and that will do it. Haven't been a lot of smiles on the face of Brian Kelly recently at the end of games, but indeed he gets the win. Jeff Monken, who actually drove from his home in Joliet, Illinois, to have an interview with Brian Kelly back when Kelly was the head coach at Grand Valley State. Didn't get the job, but here he is facing Brian Kelly all these years later and still in the process of turning this Army program around. A year removed after going 2-10. Army falls to 5-5, but again, still bowl eligible. And they like what Monken's doing at West Point, despite a short end on this score.
Things are headed in the right direction. And when they line up against Navy, anything is possible there. They still have that opportunity to be bowl eligible.
Down to Catherine.
All right, Dan, thank you. Coach, 8-0 now in these Shamrock Series games. How important is that for the program?
Well, we should play all Shamrock Series games. That would be well suited for us. Kids played well today. You know, obviously these Shamrock Series are a great way for us to be on the road and get to our fan bases. And it's been, you know, obviously a great run for us. But more importantly, you know, getting a win today was the most important thing for us.
Your quarterback, DeShone Kizer, had a big performance this afternoon. What were you most satisfied with his play today?
You know, I think he's playing tough. You know, he throws the ball when he needs to. He's running the football, you know, running the offense. And, you know, I thought we got good play from, you know, obviously everybody today on the offensive line. They gave him time, and if he didn't have people open down the field, he was able to run first downs.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So this will be the final Shamrock Series game as we assemble for the alma mater. They'll get it back on after next season. And as is the case with Notre Dame and the service academies, both teams assemble for both alma maters on their respective ends of the field. So after Notre Dame followed Army over to its corner, the Irish leading the cheers back to the other side of the field. And Army follows them all the way back over. Great tradition in college football. The mutual respect between the service academies and Notre Dame. They did the same thing in the Navy Notre Dame game last week, and they've been doing it for decades and decades. So Army Notre Dame meet again as the Irish have now won 15 straight in the series, which dates back to 1913. And the last two meetings in this Shamrock series. And we mentioned that Deshaun Kaiser had a big game, and Catherine Tappan with the Irish quarterback.
He did indeed. Deshaun, a huge performance for you and a big victory for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Describe what it was like to play in this game and also the significance of this win in the Shamrock series.
Yeah, you know, we've been looking forward to this all year. Obviously, to play the Naval Academy and West Point back-to-back weeks is definitely a big feat for us. To learn from the mistakes we did in Navy and then to come out and play the way we did against West Point is awesome for us. Obviously, with the season going the way it is, every victory is something that we look forward to. And to win as handily as we did tonight was definitely a good feeling for us.
What areas of improvement do you look for in a game like this when you're leading by a significant amount?
You know, I believe that when we're playing our best is when the offense is feeding off the defense and the defense off the offense. We come out in the third quarter with a great drive. We come down here, I make a dumb mistake throwing the ball back across my body. It turns into an interception. But before you know, the defense is back out there, deflecting balls, getting us the ball back, on the 40-yard line to put us back in a position to score the ball. So as long as we continue to feed off each other, I think we can have some more success going into these last couple games.
Yeah, speaking of those last couple games, you've got Virginia Tech, you've got USC, big games coming up down the stretch. What do you look for most from your team going into those two games?
To build off of wins like this, to see what it feels like and to have the optimistic mindset going into practice to get better. Obviously, we're getting ready to play two tough opponents, two different styles of teams. It's good for us to experience these wins so that we can go in with good motivation to prepare ourselves to play against a good Virginia Tech next week.
Deshaun, congratulations on the win. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Catherine.
Dan?
Thanks, Catherine. Earlier we mentioned, Doug, that the Shamrock Series will take a hiatus, an expected one-year hiatus with the completion of the Campus Crossroads project next year. They're going to play all 7 home games at Notre Dame Stadium. And in a conversation with Notre Dame Athletic Director Jack Swarbrick, he told us, look for more iconic venues down the road and look for the Shamrock Series to certainly be an exciting part of the Notre Dame schedule in the years to come. As we send you back down to Catherine.
All right, Dan, thank you. I'm here with James Onwalu. James, congratulations on the win. Your 4th Shamrock Series game, and of course the significance of this on Veterans Day weekend. What was the best part about playing in this game today?
You know, it's always fun playing a team like this. We've had it back-to-back, 2 academies. The guys are going to always play hard, and that's the best part about it.
Back-to-back 2 academies also comes with that the option offense that you guys have had to face now in back-to-back weeks. What did you correct from last week against Navy that worked so well today?
I think it's more of just getting guys used to it, and having that back-to-back helped a lot. So
we just talked to Deshaun about the next 2 opponents for you guys, Virginia Tech and USC. What do you still need to work on defensively in order to face those 2 dominant opponents?
We're going to have to get back to playing normal football. and getting some of the young guys flying around and playing great ball. So.
All right, James, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Dan.
Thanks, Catherine. It'll take 2 more victories against Virginia Tech and USC to get to postseason. More still to come from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio as the Irish take the latest in the Shamrock Series. Big time over Army, 44-6. Back in a moment. Crowd clearing out here at the Alamo Dome. Notre Dame 44-6 winner over the Black Knights of Army. This was a lot different looking game against an option attack than it was last week against Navy, Doug.
Well, the confidence was there early with the kick return to start the game off and the offense moving the football. But defensively against the option, I thought Notre Dame did an exceptional job.
And that leads us to Above the Rest, brought to you by Jersey Mike Subs.
You know, they basically had their safeties in a position where they were eyeing the slot backs and just chasing them man-to-man all over the field. So you have them in coverage and you have them in the run game. Sometimes you're going across the formation to find your guys. Sometimes it's to your side, here all the way across the field, chasing your pitch back and staying with him all the way. That simplified things for them on the second level. Here, Julian Love filling in a hurry, but you see the safety behind him also chasing to get pitch. You've got 2 guys on pitch. Julian Love in the secondary here. There's 3 receivers to the field, so he can cheat to the field because there's only 1 guy backside. He was the backside safety, comes all the way across and makes the pick.
So Notre Dame goes 1 for 2 against the option attacks, and we were talking with Kelly earlier in the week. He already had an eye for Virginia Tech, even though you're not supposed to look ahead, but it's a short time preparation-wise because they've been so immersed in this option defense. Now they've got the traditional attack by Virginia Tech to get ready for.
Yeah, everyone was saying what an advantage it would be to play them back-to-back because you get that second week of prep and you're diving into it. He says, well, in the short term, yes, in the long term, no, because we have Virginia Tech after that. Now it's going to feel like it's been forever since they've run their normal defense, and they've got to line up against a very good football team in Virginia Tech and play solid, sound football. They've gone to simplifying defensively, keeping things in front of them, trying not to let up the big play and just play fast.
And they've streamlined a little bit on the offensive side of the football as well. And you would think that this game would bode well for Deshaun Kaiser, who was good through the air and really good on the ground as well.
I'll tell you what, he had a heck of a day. So comfortable in the pocket. It all started with pass protection throughout the day. To see him calmly set his feet and turn it loose down the field. And when he had to move, they were subtle movements. Here, he's so under control that he can pump fake with the ball while he's moving to back people off and get more out of the run. And when people actually get in his face, he can move. Here, he just slides, keeps buying time. It all started with pass, but there was a lot of 3-man rush in long yardage situations where he decided to hold on to the football and let things develop down the field. It became pitch and catch for him. I mean, here's a nice, subtle move with his feet. That's great. He didn't panic and run out of the pocket. He sidestepped, stepped back into it, turns it loose up the seam for the touchdown to Smythe.
And even though it hasn't been the kind of season that Notre Dame football fans had hoped for, still a lot to play for. 2 big games, Virginia Tech, USC, with bowl eligibility on the line. And remember that not once in the Brian Kelly era, and it's been 6 seasons so far, have they not been bowl eligible. We've got more to come. Big day in college football highlights as well, so stay tuned for that. Notre Dame a big winner here in San Antonio today.